Hello students. So welcome to our lecture number actually 7. It is about that solve numericals, okay, and solution to the assignment number 1 for the subject code PCE 403 electrical and electronics measurement, and this is obviously from unit 1 and content 2. So we have two things remaining in our first part, okay, and the other parts are completed. So one is that rectifier type instrument and the thermo electric type instruments, that two are remaining, that we will cover after the internal or class test. And before that we will solve some problems today along with the solution to assignment number 1, right? So this is the syllabus, and these two types are remaining, this thing, this one and this one, thermoelectric and rectifier type. These two are remaining. After internal one we will cover that part, and then we will go to unit number 2, instrument transfer, right? So let's see our assignment. So this was the assignment, right? So question number 1, the scale of the PMMC type of instrument is it is uniform, right? So we have a uniform linear relationship there, so that is why this scale is uniform. Lecture number 2 contains that. And what type of question number 2 is what happens if a PMMC type instrument is used to measure a high frequency low magnitude AC signal. So the answer is this one, A, the pointer oscillator around the 0 point, right? So it is a high frequency signal, so PMMC measures DC, so it cannot catch up with the frequency of the AC signal. And low magnitude I have written because if high magnitude AC or if high magnitude of DC something is passed, then the meter may burn. That is why just this. So question number 3, which of the following statements are true? So here many of you have done mistake, some of you have given correct answers. Here multiple answers can be right. I have given in the this thing here, multiple answers can be right. Written somewhere here. Right, so this is the first one. So A is right, PMMC instrument can measure only DC quantity. B is also right, moving iron instrument can measure both AC and DC. C is wrong, PMMC cannot measure AC. And D is right, induction type instrument can measure only AC. Question number 4, what type of damping is involved in moving iron type of instrument? It is air friction damping, E. And the type of scale used in question number 5 is the type of scale used in moving iron type instrument is non-linear because it is A. Many of you, most of you have given the correct answer. Deflection torque is proportional to the square of the measuring quantity, right? So next is the numerical. I will not solve this. It is around some 45 degrees something is coming, right? It is very easy. That previous session, that is solved numerical session 1, contains one video of this, right? So here that controlling torque equal to deflection torque, that is TC equal to TD, and TC is equal to K into theta. K is given as this spring constant, okay? We need to find theta in degrees, right? So you find in radian because this thing is given in radian and this thing is given in radian. Once you find in radian, just convert to degree. So pi radian equal to 180 degree, you can get that easily, right? And the formula is, half I square dm by d theta. So dm by d theta is this thing, I is given, so all are known, right? Only theta is unknown. You can easily find it out, and many of you have done it correctly. Question number 7, which of the following instruments are free from hysteresis and eddy current errors? Yes, many of you have written this thing, electrostatic type of instrument, it is true, but along with it EMMC or electrodynamic type of instrument is also free from this hysteresis and eddy current error, because here also no iron part is involved in this EMMC, right? So C and D both are true, right? You can find it from NPTEL lecture also and NPTEL PDF also. Both you can see just, right? So both are true, C and D. And electrostatic type of instrument are generally used to measure. Question number 8. So many of you have written this A, high voltage, but it is actually this thing. Many of you have written C, power, but it is actually high voltage. That is why most common instrument is electrostatic voltmeter, because it measures voltage. It is given lecture number 5. I have given this by underline, right? It can measure some low power, but it is generally used to measure voltages of high range, greater than 500 volt, like that. Yes. So next is question number 9. A moving coil instrument has a resistance of 5 ohm and gives a full scale deflection FSD of 10 millivolt. Find number 1 RSH. That is a shunt resistance that can so that the instrument can measure up to 5 amps, and second part is series resistance so that the instrument can measure up to 20 volt. So let's go with the second part because direct part is given here. So 10 millivolt it is given as full scale deflection. So we have studied in our lecture number 5, right? 5a. So range extension for PMMC type of instrument moving coil is given, right? So easily we can find it out. That is, m is the voltage to be measured, that is 20 divided by 10 millivolt. 20 volt divided by 10 millivolt, that is m. And you can apply your formula, RAC is equal to Rm into m minus 1, right? And RAC is equal to Rm is this thing 5 ohm. It is the meter internal resistance, right? So easily you can find it out. And question number A, for that you need I of the meter, that is the current that corresponds to the full scale deflection, that is IFSD unit. I think I have written here IFSD current, that is as hint, right? So how can you find the IFSD? The meter has a internal resistance of 5 ohm and its full scale deflection voltage is 10 millivolt. So full scale deflection current is what? V is equal to IR, Ohm's law. So I is equal to V full scale deflection divided by Rm, that is the meter resistance. So 10 millivolt divided by 5 is the full scale deflection current, right? So once you find the current, then m is equal to 5 amp, that is the current to be measured, divided by that thing IFSD, right? You have just find it out. So RSH, that is the shunt resistance, is equal to, as per the formula you know, this Rm divided by m minus 1, that is 5 divided by that m minus 1, right? Just find it out. Question number 10. The spring material used in a spring control device should have the following properties, right? So all of you have given the correct answer. So it is D, should be non-magnetic. It is given lecture number 1 clearly. Should be of low temperature coefficient and should have low specific resistance. So it is the solution to the assignment. So next we go to our some numericals. So some numericals are taken today. Some are a bit easy, some are a bit tough. So calculate the multiplier resistance so that the voltmeter can measure 5 volt. It is easy, you have done this thing. So this is the voltmeter connected here. You have to measure voltage of 5 volt. So these things are given. IFSD is equal to 50 microamp and Rm is equal to 1 kilo. This is the meter properties. You need this thing, RAC. So you know the formula, RAC is equal to Rm into m minus 1. M is V, voltage to be measured divided by full scale voltage. So it is 50. Now full scale voltage is this thing. This is the voltage across the meter, right? This thing. So it is what? I into Rm, Ohm's law. Full scale voltage deflection, that is VFSD, is equal to IFSD into Rm, that is 50 microamp into 1 kilo, right? And V to be measured is 5. Just find out m is this thing. So m minus 1 is 99 and RAC is equal to Rm into m minus 1 and Rm is equal to 1 kilo. So it is 99 kilo, 99 into 1000, right? Now sensitivity of the meter. Sensitivity of the meter, we have studied this. So this is equal to 1 by I full scale deflection. There is a sensitivity. It is also from lecture number 5, I guess, range extension of PMMC. So 1 by IFSD, and IFSD is given clearly 50 microamp. So this is this thing, right? And the sensitivity is kilo ohm per volt. Here it is per volt also, it is there, right? 20 kilo ohm per volt, right? It is not visible, sorry for that. So 20 kilo ohm per volt. Okay. Now the second thing is, it is about loading effect and percentage error. So the voltage across a 2.5 kilo ohm resistor is to be measured by voltmeter, which has a sensitivity of 1 kilo ohm per volt. This is measured by voltmeter. The voltmeter property is this 1 kilo ohm per volt sensitivity. This is also known as figure of merit. Right? So calculate the reading in voltmeter, reading of the voltmeter or in voltmeter, whatever you are seeing meter, and the percentage error in measurement. So first what we will do, we need to measure the voltage when we will connect. This is the circuit. We know this is the kind of yes. So we are continuing with this question. So this is the voltmeter, and the voltmeter we have to measure the voltage across this resistance, right? So what should be the value? This is the total circuit, this part. Just see my mouse, this is the part total circuit, right? So sorry, so and the voltmeter is connected across this resistance, so obviously it will measure the voltage across this resistance. So theoretically or ideally, what will be the value? This is 75 volt. Just apply your current division rule and find the voltage. So this is the total amount of resistance, considering the voltmeter as having an infinite impedance, right? That is, the voltmeter is actually a kind of open circuit, so it will not draw any current ideally. So this is 2.5 plus 5, that is the total resistance in the circuit. This is series circuit, that is voltmeter. If it is not drawing any current, so this is the circuit path. So this part, so what is the voltage drop across this thing? 2.5 into this 75 volt, right? So 75 divided by 2.5 plus 5 is the total current, and voltage, unit voltage across this, so this thing. So this is 25, so it comes as 25 volt. So it should ideally show 25 volt. Now the problem is it has a sensitivity of 1 kilo ohm per volt, right? That is, for every 1 volt the voltmeter has a kind of 1 kilo ohm kind of sensitivity. That is, if we see here, it should have, as just told, it should have an infinite input impedance or infinite resistance, but practically it has some resistance value, okay? And that is equal to this 25 into this 1 by V, is 1 kilo ohm per volt. So 1 kilo ohm per volt, right? So 25 volt, this is voltage, and this is 1 kilo ohm per voltage. So voltage gets cancelled. 1 kilo ohm per volt means 1 kilo ohm for every 1 volt, right? So 1 kilo ohm for every 1 volt. So voltage gets cancelled. So 25. So actually its input impedance, or here if we consider the internal impedance of the meter, or impedance is resistance here. So internal resistance of the meter, this is 25 kilo ohm actually, right? So internal impedance is resistance is 25 kilo ohm. So now what happens? The current starts flowing from here. It gets divided into two branches. One branch is having this 2.5 kilo, and one branch of this voltmeter, this is having 25 kilo ohm of resistance. So now actually what the voltmeter is measuring? Voltmeter is measuring a resistance that is a combination of these two, right? And this is as usual, this is in series with that, but now it is actually connected. The voltmeter is actually connected across a parallel combination of 2.5 kilo ohm and 25 kilo ohm in series with a 5 kilo ohm resistance. So this thing is done here only. Let's see here, this thing 22.5 parallel to 25. We need to measure voltage across this thing. 5 was initially in series, this thing. This 5 plus 2.5 parallel to this thing into 75. 75 was the input voltage applied, right? So it will come as like this, 23.44 nearly. So percentage is actual value, it should come minus the practical value divided by actual value into 100, right? This is the percentage. If you do into 100, it will become in percentage. So this is actually the loading effect. Whenever you apply the voltmeter to find the reading, it is loading the circuit, that is, it is drawing some power or current from the circuit, right, practically. So this is the thing. So the next question is a bit kind of different, bit complicated. So this type of question is important for your competitive exams. You just see here, this is a current IT, right? And this is a voltmeter connected, and the voltmeter is connected across a resistance. So we need to find this voltmeter reading. So what the voltmeter will read? The voltage drop across this resistance. So this value we know, 10, and this current if we know, then 10 into this current will be the voltmeter reading. Now see just the current waveform. This is the kind of current waveform. So this current waveform is having some average value, right? This current waveform is having some average value. See, this is the zero axis, right? This is the origin. So this is all the waveforms given, like the current waveform given is, so we need to measure the voltage across this resistance by one DC voltmeter. Suppose it is a first kind of PMMC voltmeter. First let us consider PMMC voltmeter, right? So this is our current waveform, it is passed through it, it is supplied in question. So 12 amp for some t time, from t to 2t time it is 5 amp, then again it is 12 amp. So you have studied these parts, I think. So what is the time period? This 2t, right? This total thing is the time period. After this time period, time after which the curve repeats itself, right? So see, after this 2t time it is repeating itself, it is going on like this. So I average we need to find. So this formula is already given in lecture number 2, 1 by t 0 to t. Here don't confuse with this t. So this t is here given for some reference time, and this t is actually time period, right? This is suppose t time period, right? T suffix time period will be here. So it is actually the area under the curve divided by the time period, right? So just we have seen time period is the 2t in this, as per this questions convention, right? So area we need. So what is this area? This area is this thing, right? 12 into t, this thing, 12 amp, this total area, right? 12 into t, area with the t axis, right? So since we are dividing by t, this integration with dt, so we need to find area with the t axis. So plus this is what, 5, this thing, right? 5 is given here, 5 into 2t minus t, this time 2t minus t, divided by total time from this to this, this to this, this is 2t, right? This is 2t. So just find 12t plus this is 5t divided by 2t. So just add, t will get cancelled, is 8.5 amp, right? So 8.5 is the average voltage. That means what? This line, I mean this graph, it is equivalent to a kind of graph which is having 8.5 magnitude. 8.5 will lie somewhere here. So straight line. This graph is equivalent to a graph which is having a DC value of 8.5 amps. Something here, straight line, right? Same value, 8.5. So that will having the same effect like this curve. So the voltmeter will read what is 8.5 into this average value, 8.5 into 10, 85 volt. Now if this is the case with PMMC type of instrument, if we have some moving iron time, then we need to find the RMS value, right? And RMS formula we know, we have studied this, 1 by t 0 to t is integration and square, right? 1 by t 0 to dvt square dt root under. So you find it, and then what will the this current will come as RMS current. RMS current into this resistance will be the magnitude of the voltage read by moving iron instrument, right? So this is for PMMC, for DC voltmeter. So let's move to the next question. So just as I was telling, here see the current expression, it is directly given, -8 plus 6 root 2 sine of omega t plus 60 degree. So we need to find this current is passed through a center 0 PMMC first, then through a moving iron meter, right? So we need to find the each meter's reading. So now PMMC reads average value we know. Now PMMC, if the meter is starting from 0, then obviously this is AC part, so anyway the PMMC meter will not read this part, right? The PMMC will only read this part, but if the meter reading is starting from 0, then it cannot go to the negative part, so in that case it will read 0. But if it is a center 0 PMMC as given in the question, center 0 means 0 is in the center, in the left we have negative reading, in the right we have positive reading, so negative reading it can read. So in that case it will read -8, right? Center 0 PMMC can read both positive and negative DC values. And moving iron, as just told, it reads RMS value. So what is the RMS value of this whole waveform? Moving iron reads both AC and DC, and we have studied that moving iron in lecture number 2. We have studied that moving iron reads RMS value of a waveform. So what is the RMS value of the total waveform? Root under, this is DC, so directly its square will come, root under 8 square, and this is the peak value, so this divided by root 2 is the RMS value, that is 6 root 2. This is the peak value of 6 root 2 divided by root 2 and its square, root under a square plus b square type, right? So this will be the reading of the MI meter. So moving iron meter will read this value, root under 8 square plus 6 root 2 divided by root 2 square. Now if we have a true RMS meter, the true RMS from the name it is evident, so it will read also RMS value, that is same as this value. So true RMS meter, since it reads also the RMS value, the value will be same, value of current measured will be same like MI. So next question. So this is for your exercise only. Find the average and RMS value of a sine wave. Average obviously not need to find because it is 0. You know, in a sine wave if it is given it is 0, and RMS you need to find, right? It will be if Vm sine omega t is the waveform, then Vm by root 2 will be the RMS value you need to find. Now the problem arises when like suppose just for your example once, this waveform, suppose if instead of this waveform we are given a kind of, suppose 5 amp below 5 amp, then again 5 amp below 5 amp, in that case what will be the average value? 0. Above if it is 5, below it is also 5, then again repeating itself, then it will be 0 average value. So that is why sine wave have 0 waveform. But you have some rectified sine wave, that is suppose the half wave rectifier or full wave rectifier you are going through in the power electronics course. So in that case it will not be 0, it will have some average value, right? So you can try that, half wave and full wave. We will derive those things in our rectifier type instrument when we will study, but before that you can go hands on this experiment on these values, right? So one question on wattmeter reading. So let we have a voltage waveform like this, V0 plus V1 sin omega t plus theta 1 plus V2 sin 2 omega t plus theta 2, and like this. And current waveform we have, suppose I is equal to I0 plus I1 sin omega t plus phi 1 plus I2 sin 2 omega t plus phi 2 plus like that. Now this V0 and I0 are the DC values, right? It is written in capital, so these are the DC values, fixed values. These are all sine values or alternating values, AC values, right? So theta 1 is the phase of this part of the voltage, theta 2 for this part of the voltage. Similarly phi 1 is the phase of this part of the current, then it is for the second part of the current, right? So if it is 2 omega t, then it is actually known as second harmonics. This is first or fundamental, then it is second, right? Similarly for the current, if it is 1 only omega t, so it is a fundamental, then it is the second harmonic. So the phase of the second harmonic voltage is theta 2, phase of the second harmonic current is phi 2. Now if you want to measure the power by the wattmeter, like we have studied wattmeter, right? Electrodynamic wattmeter, induction wattmeter, then for reading it will show. If it is only a DC, suppose these parts are not there, suppose only V equal to V0, I is equal to I0, then power, average power is V0 I0. Suppose only this thing is there, V is equal to V1 sin omega t plus theta 1 and I is equal to I1 sin omega t plus phi 1 only, then what will be the power? Only this part, V1 by root 2, we have studied it with a RMS value, so V1 by root 2 into I1 by root 2, these are peak values. V1 is the peak value, so RMS value V1 by root 2, I1 is the peak value, so RMS value I1 by root 2 into cos of the phase difference. This thing we have studied, cos of the phase difference, right? Theta 1 minus phi 1, theta 1 minus phi 1, cos of the phase difference between the voltage and the current applied. And if we have all the three quantities like as given in the question, so just add all the three quantities, right? V0 I0 for this thing, then this two thing, and then this two thing, right? Same thing. Difference is theta 2 minus phi 2. But one thing you have to remember here, this is a bit tricky, and the thing is, see, this part of the voltage, it will not interact with this part of the current or this part of the current. This part of the voltage will not interact with this part of the current or this part of the current. This part of the voltage will only interact with this part of the current, right? Why? Because if you average the value, this part of the voltage into multiply this part of the voltage into this part of the current, then since the two frequencies are different, its average will come at as 0. And since if you multiply this part of the voltage with a fixed current or DC current, if you average that, then it will be average of a sine. Yes, so we were discussing this problem where we have a voltage waveform V, and it is a superposition of kind of 3 or 4 different waveforms, one of which is a DC value and the other one is of magnitude V1, peak magnitude V1, and frequency of omega t and a phase of theta 1 with respect to some reference, and the other is of magnitude V2 and frequency of 2 omega t with a phase of theta 2 for the same reference, from the same reference, right? And similar is the story for the current. It is a sum of 3 sinusoids, suppose here not 3, 2 sinusoids and 1 DC value, so it is a kind of shifted sinusoids, right? So shifted sinusoid, why I am telling like this, because suppose let this is the current. So what actually it does, we will draw first how to draw this current. We will first draw this current, right? 6 root 2 sine omega t, right? Like 6 root 2 we will just do, and then sine omega t plus 60, one sinusoid, it is having a phase of 60 degree, right? So and then what we will, this minus 8, what it does, it just shifts the waveform below the axis, right? So the omega t axis, it is just shifting the waveform in the negative direction by minus 8 magnitude, right? So this DC actually does the shifting of the waveforms, right? So similar is the case here. So now what I am trailing previously, that this is the shortcut. Suppose if it is coming in some competitive exam or it is having some 1 mark or 2 mark, then you go by this. Now if you want to derive that how these things are coming, so just go on multiplying, right? So first term is V0, you multiply this with this, so V0 into I0, so it is one DC value, right? So V0 suppose it is 20 volt and I0 suppose it is 5 amps, so it is 100, product is 100. So if you take the average, it is of 0 frequency, so obviously it is the value actually, right? So its average is same, average and RMS whatever you will take, it is same DC value of same thing. So now comes the second term, so product of this and this. So this is one value, this is other value, you have to take the RMS of this. So I1 by root 2, it is also a value, so V0 into I1 by root 2 into the sine thing. Now average of a sine waveform or a trigonometric waveform over one time period is 0. So what the wattmeter reads actually, the wattmeter, you will do what we just see in our theory, we have already seen, we will multiply voltages and current, and that will give us instantaneous power, and the average of the instantaneous power over one complete cycle will give the wattmeter reading or the average power or the true power, right? So we have to do the averaging over one complete cycle. So if you multiply this term with this term and take average over one complete cycle, then it will be 0, because it will be again integration of 1 by t 0 to t, a sine function. Sine function integrated over a complete cycle is 0, right? So similar is the case of when this term is multiplied with this third term, again whatever is the frequency we don't care, but again it is a sine function and its integration over a complete cycle will stand as 0, right? So next come to second term, so product of this term and this term, it will give again some value, and the sine term it will give 0, average will give 0. Now comes this term and this term, the two products. So V1 I1 and root 2 will come, V1 by root 2, I1 by root 2, because RMS we will consider. And now what happens, see both are having sine, both are of same frequencies, right? So sin A sin B, we know the formula, 2 sin A sin B is cos of A minus B minus cos of A plus B by 2, right? Something like that. So there what you just imagine in your mind, so 2 sin A sin B, if we take sin A into sin B, right? So there cos of A plus B, in that term what will happen, A means this thing, B means this thing, so omega t plus theta 1 plus omega t plus phi 1, in that part 2 omega t will come, omega t plus omega t, 2 omega t plus theta 1 plus phi 1, but in the other part this omega t will get cancelled, right? Cos of a minus b minus cos of a plus b. So this term, yes, so this term will get cancelled in the cos of a minus b part, right? When we multiply sin a sin b, so then it will be cos of a minus b minus cos of a plus b by 2. That a plus b part, all these things will come and there will be some frequency, but in the a minus b part, then theta 1 minus phi 1 will exist, right? So its average will be a non-zero term, obviously, because there is no sinusoidal or no cosinual function is involved there, right? But in the other part 2 omega t will be involved, and then again by the rule of trigonometric function it will be, its average will give 0 over a complete cycle, right? So we saw that product of this and this gave us some average value, right? See, same thing, just see, it will be a cos, as we have just discussed, cos of a minus b, so this theta 1 minus theta 2 will come, right? Okay, so now this thing, this and this, product of this and this, now these two frequencies are different, so again the formula will be same, cos of a minus b minus cos of a plus b, but in both the terms, in both the cosine terms, omega t will be there, some frequency will be there, one it will be 3 omega t, the other part it will be omega t. So both, if we do integration over time period, both will give 0, right? So similar is the case of this term. When we multiply this with this, first term will be 0, then when we multiply this term with this term, then again it will be 0, but when we will multiply this term with this term, again that cosine thing will come, and a minus b, cosine of a minus b will come. So then this and this, consider this as a and b, this as b, so then this and this get cancelled, right? And then this will remain, this theta 2 minus phi 2, 2 minus phi 2, right? So this is the thing. And so what we learned, that if we have also a waveform of v is given like this, so don't fear and kind of waveform, see how will I find the average power. You just go on finding the similar frequency term, you find it v0, okay, omega t is 0, v0 means it is a dc, 0 frequency, so it is 0, okay, fine, infinite time period, dc is having infinite time period, so it is having 0 frequency, so let's find some 0 frequency term here. So this is, okay, you take the product, this is one term you get, you are interested with power, so you will multiply voltage with current, right? Next you go to second term, okay, this is omega t, you find here omega t, where omega t is there, okay, I get 1 omega t here, right? So you take v1 i1, you take the RMS value and you just do on cos of this minus this, right? This thing. Now next frequency comes omega 2 omega t, so no 2 omega t here, no 2 omega t, I got 1 omega t, 2 omega t, so this will interact with this only, see, similarly this term comes, so just go on finding the similar frequency term, the other will give 0. Now one thing I just want to tell here, if I am telling this is a bit tough problem, so one more thing I will just add here, just go on and ask if you have any doubts. Suppose instead of 2 omega t, it is given omega t, let us suppose it is given v1 sine of omega t plus theta 1 plus v2 sine of omega t plus theta 2, or let v2 cosine of omega t plus theta 2, right? Omega t is given only, so then you have to, then actually this and this are similar frequency term, so then you have to draw some phasor, like you know that all sine tan cos formula in our quadrants, first second third fourth quadrant, so by that way you have to couple these two terms, this term and this term, and find one same frequency, like suppose some omega t will come, one resultant voltage will come from the vector diagram or the phasor diagram, and one resultant theta will come with respect to reference axis, so you have to do that. After that you again do the previous steps whatever I have told you, right? This is valid only when these frequencies are different, because this is different frequency. If it is having same frequency as omega t, then you have to couple the similar frequency terms in the voltage first, and similarly if you have some similar frequency terms in the current, then couple them first, then you do the steps, right? So let's move on to our last problem. So what is there, 200 volt full scale deflection is the 100 volt is the full scale deflection. PMMC type of DC voltmeter have sensitivity 10 kilo ohm per volt and 20 kilo ohm per volt, right? So 2 voltmeters we have, DC PMMC voltmeter with 100 volt full scale division, and they are connected in series, okay? So the combination can measure a maximum of how much volt? Okay, so what is the situation here? We have 2 voltmeters in series, right? So obviously they will give some voltage. If this the combination, we had what we have done, we have connected two we have taken two voltmeters. One is having this, so we have taken two voltmeters. One is having this characteristic 10 kilo ohm per volt, other is having this characteristic 20 kilo ohm per volt, and we have connected them in series, right? And now we want to measure some voltage with that, and our question is what maximum voltage they can measure, right? That combination, and each one have 100 volt of full scale deflection. So what they can measure, 100 volt or 200 volt, that we will see, right? Or 50 volt, whatever what they will measure. Okay, so now what we need to do, this instrument has one internal resistance. All we know that Rm we used to call it, that is the resistance of the meter itself, internal resistance. Okay, so since they are connected in series, so same current will flow through them, right? Same value of current will flow through them. Now what happens if high current flows, then instruments get damaged, that we know. So we have to find the full scale deflection current of each instrument first. Why we need to find it? Because the minimum amount of current will have to flow through the series combination of the instrument, because if higher current flows, then the instrument which is having a full scale deflection of less value, it will get damaged, it will get burnt. So first task is to find the full scale deflection current, right? So we know the formula, 1 by sensitivity is the full scale deflection current. So for one it is like this, so it will give 0.1 milliamp. For the second it will be like this, so it will give 0.05 milliamp. Now why it is now more clear, if suppose this is 0.1, this is 0.05, if suppose 0.75 milliamp of current flows, then this instrument will burn, because its maximum full scale deflection current is this, so this instrument will get damaged. So the combination can sustain a maximum value of this current only. This instrument can go for 0.1 milliamp, but it cannot go, because if 0.1 more than 0.05 flows, then this instrument will surely get damaged, right? So 0.05 milliamp of current will flow, that is for sure. Now what will be the task? What is the voltage? How we get? This is Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. Many times we have did this. So we have to find the resistance of each meter. Like the meter is like this. This is voltmeter 1, this is voltmeter 2. See, this is the internal resistance of the meter. This is the internal resistance of the meter. We used to denote by Rm also, right? Internal resistance of the meter. And this is the circuit where it is connected in parallel. This combination is a voltmeter, right? These two terminals, suppose A terminal and B terminal. This combination will act as a voltmeter. If you take this part and connect in shunt with some circuit, it will give the potential difference across that two parts of the circuit, right? So for that we need the meter resistance. So meter resistance is, again, this is Ohm's law, V is equal to I into R. Like full scale deflection voltage, we know what is that, it's 100 volt is given, and full scale deflection current it is given also. See, this IFSD we just found, right? So the total voltage can be measured is the maximum allowable current, that is 0.05 into the sum of two resistances, this RV1 and RV2. RV1 will be VSD1 by IFSD1, RV2 will be FSD2 by IFSD2, and VFSD1 is equal to VFSD2 is equal to 100 volt given in the question, right? So this is the maximum allowable voltage that can be measured, maximum voltage, right? So today, thanks for this part. So all these are the material from where I have taken this, right? And this will be helpful, this numericals will be very helpful to you to go on and ask your doubts. This is our email ID, and I would like to thank this Last Minute Electrical platform for giving this online forum. So go on, study, and please ask your doubts. This is very interesting. Problem session 2 is very interesting. Many important problems are solved there. So go through the video carefully. Thank you.